Hello. 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 Oh, hello. Seriously, I'm only a few weeks into these and I'm already running out of ways to say hello. I mean, maybe just hello is good enough. Welcome back to Cringe Poetry. I am your poet. Can I call myself that? Yeah, I'm going to. So, after last week, which was arguably maybe a little bit darker than it had any right to be, this week I'm going to go back in time, channel some nostalgia. I know what you're thinking. You're reading poems that are 20-some years old. Is this not already you indulging in your own nostalgia? Maybe. Yep, that's exactly what it would be. However, this week I'm going to read you something that's a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more insert interesting and intelligent sounding word here. So this week we're going back to childhood. This poem is called I Used to. I used to splash in puddles on rainy spring days. I used to read children's books and watch Sesame Street on a small TV without cable. I used to think the world dropped off to nothing beyond my boring Albertan town. I used to think that doomsday came when your best friend played with him instead of you at recess. I used to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the playground at lunch. I used to dream of magic carpets and Cinderella. I used to live on an acreage just outside town and ride horses every day. I used to take so much of the beauty of childhood for granted. I used to think life was so long. I guess things change. But I still splash in puddles. That was kind of cute. The thing that I love about this poem, aside from it being much lighter than Dark World, the date on this poem is July 13th, 2002. So I was 19. I was barely an adult. Barely. But I had this like wave of nostalgia for my childhood and how magical it was. And don't get me wrong, my childhood was pretty magical. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. But waxing philosophical about, I used to take the beauty of childhood for granted. I used to think life was so long. You're 19 years old. Like, if I remember correctly, I was so not an adult that I didn't even have my license at this point. It is interesting to me, that feeling of being so grown up and having nostalgia for things that were really only like 5 years ago. Like, if I think 5 years back from now, my life was pretty much what it's like now. I do still splash in puddles, assuming I'm not like on my way somewhere fancy or like on my way to work. I don't want to sit at my desk all day with wet feet. That doesn't sound like fun. If I was headed straight home, I'd splash in a puddle. So that was I used to. Oh, I used to splash in puddles on rainy spring days. Nostalgia. Speaking of nostalgia, and in an attempt to kind of stay on some kind of theme this week, the theme is childhood, in case it wasn't clear. Which it probably wasn't because I didn't explain it. I swear I'll get the hang of this one day. But today is not that day. For the second half of the video today, the part where I read a poem by an actual published poet, I'm going to be reading from Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. I didn't read any Shel Silverstein until probably just about 5 years ago. But I bought this book and I read every page of it. And it's magical and wonderful, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Okay, for a video about childhood and wonder and nostalgia, maybe we don't need to threaten violence on people. So just to be super original, the poem I'm going to read from Where the Sidewalk Ends is Where the Sidewalk Ends. Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. There is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk-white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk-white arrows go. For the children they mark, and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. I love Shel Silverstein. His poems are funny and silly and sometimes a little bit gross. Like, they're just so great. And reading this book as an adult was so kind of magical and kind of took me back to that place where I splashed in puddles when I was a kid. So there we have it. A little bit more positivity and happy nostalgia from when we were kids. Hopefully that brings up your week a little bit. I mean, it is Monday after all. Be sure to do all those things I usually tell you to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know of any other poems, whether Shel Silverstein or otherwise, that really just appeal to the child in your heart. And, oh, what was that? My voice just cracked. Going through puberty again, that's nice. And as always and forever, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. Full disclosure, we might go back to dark, because that was kind of my default setting. Bye.